Okay, I'd like to introduce, just make an informal introduction right now of our speaker, Mr. Mike Crow. Thank you for being here. We have in-house Chris Villario, Rick Shaw, David, and myself. Online, we have Dick Strayer, Lynn McNamee, Bill Dindy, Lisa Nolly, and if I've missed anyone, please let me know. Okay.
So that's who William is.
That's who William, Mr. William Dindy. Okay. First off, y'all got all our Lynn's emails today, so thank you, Lynn. I appreciate you doing that. Last Saturday was the round table. There were several things that were brought up that I don't think we had. In this district joining together for the Rotary Foundation on November the 23rd, 28th, or 18th. They are asking each club to provide a auction item in the value of $100 or donate $100. Do we know of anybody that would like to make some sort of auction item that would total $100? We've got a few weeks on that, a few months to worry on that. And
I would speak for $100 fee.
Oh, well, no, they won't do that. Also, there's been a lot of emails going out about helping out with Houston, Beaumont, that area. If you'd like to go down and look out houses, do all this stuff, let me know. There are several groups going down. One left yesterday, I think it was. One's going to be leaving this next weekend. But if you have the time, let me know, and I'll keep in contact. And was there anything else that I needed to come up with? Anything special? I know that Dick is going to be going to Cuba and Bill on the 27th of September. I think with Irma, things have probably changed their focus on what they'll be doing. So, Bill, have you got any update on that? Is Bill speaking? Okay, we can't hear you, Bill.
This is Lisa. I will chime in on that. I spoke with Eddie Marshall today. He's part of the team that is working with LNAC, and he did confirm that the focus of the trip will now focus on hurricane relief and rebuilding instead of doing so much of the repair work at the schools. No specifics on that, but the focus of the trip definitely will be on disaster relief and rebuilding.
Okay. Thank you very much. Also, don't forget, November 4th is the Challenge Air Fly Day. Sign up online if you can do that. That's where you go in, help the disadvantaged kids. They're usually autistic, some sort of physical and mental disability. And you go lift them onto the plane, get them off. We give them wings, a certificate, and all of that. So we appreciate that. And don't forget, this the 23rd is the district awards presentation. So if you haven't signed up for that, do so. It's getting short notice right now. So do sign up. So I think that's all at this time for me. At this time, I'd like to officially introduce Mr. Mike Crow. He has his own consulting firm. He started several businesses. His list goes on and on. Howard's known him for, he said, 15 years or more. So he comes well recommended, and I would appreciate Mike Crow. Come on.
Give me an idea of what time you want me to finish it.
Oh, about 20.
20 after, okay? And how do we get to
Your presentation?
my presentation?
Okay. I found that earlier.
If everybody gets up and walks out, that's a clue that it's time.
Okay. Okay, videographer.
I don't
Chris?
know of anything.
You should, don't even worry
Well,
about that.
that's true.
Okay, so,
Oh, Lynn, you have to do the
Yeah,
whole,
Lynn has-
do the recording. And Lynn, you have the control.
Where's the PowerPoint? Is it right here?
It's on here. Lynn, you have the control,
You have a Bluetooth or anything? No, just-
and we need to turn it over.
Hold on.
Change it over to
No, wait a minute.
Maybe David could do it.
David
Hold on.
doesn't have the PowerPoint.
Who's?
Mike Crow is our speaker.
Okay, somebody
And-
else wrote that up.
And,
Probably Lisa.
oh, that was, okay, that was
So this
Lynn.
PowerPoint, who's playing this?
Lynn,
PowerPoint?
are you doing the PowerPoint on here? Lynn? Yeah.
I
Okay.
paused sharing. I can resume sharing, but this was why I didn't want to be host.
Yeah, don't be host.
You have to take it. I didn't even take it.
Okay,
It was
so
given to
share.
me.
Okay,
Sorry, Mike.
That's okay.
We'll increase your time.
It's not a problem.
We just need to get over to the,
I said for us, this is pretty good. Hey, there's the
No.
PowerPoint, it looks
No.
like.
no, that's not it. Lynn, is that your PowerPoint that's up?
Yeah.
That's hers.
Okay, so where does ours live?
It's on, look down here,
That's it. You see.
right
PowerPoint
next
right
over.
there?
Do the
But can you
PowerPoint.
take over host?
I,
Does
well,
that
see
make
if
it
I can.
easier?
And that's
Now
me
there,
right
that's her.
there you go.
Okay,
And
there,
to-
and then slide show.
Click right there, and
Oh,
that
okay.
should start it. And.
It should.
Okay, swapped everything.
Uh-oh.
So it's showing right here. Hold on.
Oh, that's, okay.
Bear with us, everybody. We'll get right to it. Oh, okay, so
Yeah. That was it.
display. Hold on, I got you. That should work. So this is, there you go. Yep. Okay. So to and fro, there you go. Yep, it should. I think I can use that. This is. We'll give it a try.
We'll
see
give
if
it a try.
works. And does not look like that.
Okay.
All right.
Well, hi, Nick.
Hello.
Hey.
Hello.
We have visitors here from Houston.
Have a seat.
Nick had to evacuate his home.
Wow. Were you flooded?
No, we weren't.
All right, well, I'm glad to hear that. I had many friends in Houston. Fortunately, none of my friends were flooded, considering what a large percentage of Houston was flooded. That's kind of interesting. My name is Mike Crow. I have been doing for 30 years, I've been actually helping people do what we would call masterminds, okay? And so we get small groups of people together. We find out what the problem is, and as a group, we basically solve those problems. I work all across North America with small businesses, franchises, all types of folks. I'm not here today to offer anything. I'm only here today because Howard Berg, who has spoken on my stage at my show, asked me to come out and talk with you. And you'll be glad to know he warned me that this was set up on Zoom and that it would be a challenge. And it kind of reminds me of what it must have felt like to do the first Morse code, right? And to do the first phone call. You can only imagine what that must have been like. And now we're learning Zoom, right? Where we have several people out there on camera watching and trying to pull everything together. One of the things that I will tell you is that I kind of found that was interesting is just trying to help people understand the challenges that they're going to be faced with when they move forward. We may not get through everything I have tonight because I want to make sure we stay on time. Just some things that I thought that would be interesting. So I believe, and those are two words you should write down. I believe, and you should kind of start putting out there what you believe and letting people know what those things are. It was kind of interesting the other day. I was listening to a preacher online, and he said, "I believe," and I thought that was kind of cool, and he filled in some blanks. So this is really gonna. Oh, that's kind of nice to be able to say, to be able to get a feel for it. I don't know how people. Now I come across folks that I guess you're going to work on that, but I believe, for instance, there will be challenges. You know, to see how things. See if you're ready for the next step. That seems kind of appropriate tonight, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. I believe that the world is full of people that will give up. So a lot of people have tried, you know, interviewing or talking over webinars and things like this. Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you very much. And it's 95% of people. This is the shame of our society nowadays. 95% of people actually give up when things don't work right. All right. And one of the things I try to do is I actively look for those 5%ers. So when I heard you were going through this tonight, I said, you know what, this is going to be fun. I have done webinars. I have done teleclasses. I do a lot of teleclasses. I'm going to tell you, I find teleclasses easier than trying to get the technology to work with all of the, the cameras and everything. Because every time I've done it, there's always been a challenge. At some point, though, we're going to open our phone, we'll flip it on, just like we do for everything else on a device. Think about this, a device that 20 years ago, 30 years ago, we didn't even have mobile telephones, right? And now we do. So next thing, I believe you're gonna piss some people off. You're gonna tick some people off. Let's try it that way. Sounds a little nicer, right? You're gonna make some people mad, and the only way not to make people mad is basically not to do anything. I know that you might have speakers come in and might be challenged with this kind of a setup, this kind of a working situation. It isn't bothering me at all. All right. When you've been in business for 30 plus years, you get used to what challenge looks like. And successful people are always going through challenge. Okay. Here's the thing is, you get to write your own script. You get to choose what you want to do or what you don't want to do. You get to choose whether you're willing to accept things or whether not to accept things. You get to choose whether you're willing to work through those challenges and other things that you don't have. Okay. And one of the things I think is very important is that you get to choose, do you write that script? See, most people nowadays are being taught to write that script from up here. I'm going to tell you, successful people write the script from here. We write it from our hearts. We write it from the ability to, understand that there's always going to be an emotional part to what we do. I'm reading some interesting books, actually with the FBI and different things. And one of the interesting things about that is they found that when they're working with people and when they're trying to find people, is that most of what has been written out there has tried to take the emotional part out of it. But what they have to deal with is the emotional part of it. When we're in business, when we're with our family, when we're with anything, people have a tendency to underrate the emotional part and everything. Are you trying to speed me up, or
No.
or trying to help me?
I'm trying to. No.
Okay. There you go. So one of the things I believe is anything's possible. Okay. With that, though, you have to take control of the situation. You have to take control of whether you're going to make it work or not. And through the process, I believe you have to be true to yourself. 95%, and by the way, 95% of people are controlled by the media or radio or all types of different things that have a tendency to push them one way or another. And you have to be willing to make sure you take control of what you put in your brain and what you're willing to work on some other things. So I believe in honesty, courage, intelligence, durability, and goodness. I find that the more that I'm willing to give to other people, the more I get back. I think this crowd, most of them probably would recognize Zig Ziglar. Okay, this is probably going to not surprise you much, but I have spoken to young people and I say Zig Ziglar and they go, who? Okay, and because they weren't around. And one of the things that Zig, of course, always said was, the more people you help, the more you'll get. Okay, the more you want, the more people you should help, and it works out very well. And so, what I find is the world is tapping you on the shoulder all the time. Let's see, if I turn this way and look at the computer, do you have more frontal on me? You do, don't you? Okay, so I think the world is tapping you on the shoulder all the time, asking you if you're ready to step up. And I think that that's one of the things you need to do, whispering to you that maybe it's your turn to shine. Maybe it's your turn to step up and play big. We get to create our own reality, and you too, of course, can become great. One of the things I tell people all the time is, I believe in you. And one of the biggest things I try to tell people is I believe in surrounding them with other successful people. And that's why I love doing mastermind groups where I put small groups together for 1 day, 2 days, sometimes, to work on different situations. There's a new movie out about Bruce Lee. Any of you guys seen it yet? Okay. Movies are one of my weaknesses. I have 2 weaknesses. besides my wife. But I love movies, and I don't go see horror movies. I won't go see It. Is that the new horror thing out? I won't go see that. I didn't go see Annabelle. I have no need to fill my brain with fear. Okay. However, I went and saw the new Bruce Lee movie that was kind of the story of his life, and it was a great movie. One of the things that Bruce Lee said at one point was absorb what is useful and discard what is not, and then add what is uniquely your own in that process. One of the things that I teach people all the time is you have to figure out what makes you unique and then add that to the process of what we're doing and moving everything forward. All right. So one of the things I love to do, and I'm probably only going to go through these 4 things. How many of you are actually in business for yourself or work in a business currently? So Chris, okay, you do. What business are you in?
I'm kind of a sales rep for a small construction company that's contract repairs.
Cool. Okay. Who else had their hand up? You did? What do you do?
I'm self-employed.
Self-employed? That's wonderful. What do you market?
Myself, ER.
You're an ER?
ER doctor.
ER physician? Okay. That's great. Okay. I saw another hand over here.
I was retired at chemical sales.
Chemical sales? Chris, how about you?
Video production and live streaming.
Video production and live streaming. Okay. So you're the one that's made all this possible tonight. We have you to thank and blame all at the same time. Okay. All right. So one of the things I find is that we all have what we would call a referral base, people that refer us. Would you find that that's correct? Okay. Chris, you have people that refer you, some people out of here, some people out of different things. Even as an ER physician, okay, yes, you work at the ER, but really the hospital is referring you to some degree, okay? And by the way, I had to go through an ER recently, and I have to tell you, it just amazes me what you guys have to work through to get things done. So thank you for that. Okay. But there are 4 basic things that I teach. I'm just going to pop them all up here real quick. And that you need to try to do to help make sure people understand that not only do you appreciate their referrals, but you want to make sure that they're always referring you. See, my son actually was doing a presentation earlier today. My son manages our home inspection business. So we have a home inspection business. It's the largest home inspection business in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. It's called TexInspect. And he was talking to somebody today, and one of the things he was telling them was something that I've been saying for years. When somebody needs your service or your product or you, okay, you have to be the first person that comes to mind, maybe the second, or otherwise you're pretty much like scrap metal. They don't even think about you. And especially with today's technology, right? Where are they going to go? Oh, Google that, all right? And they put in the term and they put in a zip code and they wait to see what pops up, okay? So by the way, having good internet presence, that's important. But I'm going to tell you, even more important is having loyal people that will refer you over and over and over again. By the way, I call those people mavens. People that have a group of customers they're probably working with, or clients that they're probably working with that might need your service too. And then on a regular basis, they'd be willing to refer you to some of the things you do. So one of the things that we teach those people is to write what we call a TAP note, a true appreciation note. So T comes from true, AP comes from appreciation. So a TAP note, something I created years and years ago, probably about 25 years ago, and you've probably heard it many times. Some people call them power notes, and I've heard them called other things as well. But this note is different than a thank you note. See, most people write to say, thank you for using our services. Yeah, we probably should say thank you for that, okay? But does that note really mean anything to them? Remember how we talked about the emotional value earlier, all right? So if I were to write a TAP note, and let's take Chris, for instance. Chris, the other night, while there was a speaker at the Rotary Club, I watched how you diligently worked, and see, now I've already messed up because in a TAP note, there would be no I, no me, no we. And so I'm going to tell you, even with years of experience, I write it out, and I normally have to take myself back out of it, okay? So, Chris, the other night, while you were setting up for the Rotary Club, and they are learning how to use Zoom, you went to great lengths to try to make sure that the speaker could not only see himself, but could also see his presentation, and make sure that he was getting his point across to everybody involved. It's that level of dedication to helping make people succeed that truly helps you stand above and beyond other people out there that may understand or currently use them. It was a pleasure seeing you in action. Mike Crow. Okay? Now, you get that kind of a note. There's nothing in there about me. I mean, yes, I'm the speaker tonight, but there's nothing in there about me, I, or we in there. You try to write that kind of a note, and by the way, you should really only kind of write that kind of a note to somebody probably about once every 3 months or 6 months. You can't write that note every time you work with them, unless you only work with them once in a great while. But a tap note, a true appreciation note, makes a thank you note look like tissue paper. Okay? Something you blow your nose on and then throw away. All right? This, they're going to post it on the refrigerator. They're going to put it in their notebook when of all the notes they want to show people and everything else. So a tap note is incredibly powerful. And the next time Chris thinks about referring somebody, he's going to go, you know what? This guy right here, he gets it. He understands how hard I work. And he'll have much more likely, he'll want to refer that person. Second thing is newsletter. Now I'm going to tell you something very interesting. Most people say newsletters nowadays. What do they mean? They mean emails. Emails are not newsletters. Okay? Those can be e-zines or e-newsletters or something like that. Our world is just wrapped around digital. And there's nothing wrong with digital. We need to use it. We need to learn to use it. I was talking with somebody earlier today that will be presenting at my next show, and he helps people have the right presence on social media. So all of the digital world is very, very important. What the world is missing now is that the 5%ers, they go above and beyond digital now. So the tap note, by the way, that's not an email. That's a handwritten note, okay, that they got from you. So one of the next things I like to mention to people is a newsletter. Send out a newsletter, a paper newsletter. It doesn't have to be much. It could literally be a front and back page. Now, here's the thing about the newsletter. It probably shouldn't be about you. That's shocking to some people. It should be about what your client needs, all right? So, Chris, if you're sending out a newsletter to, how many clients did you service in the last year?
About 10 to 12 a month.
All right, about 10 to 12. So that's about 100 and something. So if you're sending out 100 plus newsletters, okay, what you could say is different tricks and tips about using, webinars and Zoom and maybe even other products and services. And you can also tell case stories or case histories about how these people used it and how these folks built their business with it. Okay? We're not talking about, oh, here's Chris and here's how many years I have. And here, they're going to get the idea just through the case studies and through the notes and everything. Okay? Now, here's the other challenge I had. One of the things I had was my marketing became so good that people started doubling it, started copying it. In fact, in our home inspection business, we have a 200% guarantee. I created that, and it's now used across the country by probably 100 companies or so. But a couple of companies here locally went, oh, I saw that, I could do that. And they immediately pulled the verbiage off my website, copied it, and now they do it, I'm kind of a nice guy. I didn't sue them, okay? Probably could have. But I find life is too short to get involved in too much of that garbage. So one of the things that's interesting is I realized I needed to create what I call underground marketing. Marketing that my competition can't see. Now think about this for a second. The tap note. Does my competition see that? They might see it in that person's notebook, or they might see it on that person's refrigerator if they just happen to be in that situation. But even if they see it, they're not going to understand it. They're going to think, oh, he sent out a thank you note. They're not going to understand the difference. My competition doesn't understand the difference between a tap note and a thank you note. So that's kind of a cool thing. We do some things that we build for people, and it'd be a little bit more difficult for it to apply to you. But for instance, we do what we call return address labels, postcards, home buyer system. So think about this. We go do a home inspection, right? And we take a picture of the front of the house. So we put it on a set of return address labels. So they now have a paper set of return address labels. Plus we give them postcards that they can mail out to family with a picture on the front of it and everything. And then we give them a small toolkit to go with it so that they have it in the drawer all the time. Now, here's the cool thing is, it doesn't have our name, Text Inspect, on it anywhere. I give it to our mavens, and our mavens who their clients were, they now give it to them. And I've just helped my Maven be able to get more referrals from those people, their clients, okay? So it's kind of one of those things. The other thing I love doing is things that sometimes, even if my competition sees it, they can't hardly copy it because they aren't willing to spend the money. So we do an Ireland giveaway. Every year we send 2 of our Mavens, usually, and by the way, it's set up so that people can enter it even if they don't use our services. You have to do that to stay legal with the lottery laws, if you don't know, with giveaways. And so that's why McDonald's says, hey, if you want, you can have one of these. You don't have to buy fries or a Coke or whatever. Just have to give us a self-addressed stamped envelope, mail it in, and then we'll mail you back. So you have to allow people in, okay, on those sort of things. But we do an Ireland giveaway, and it's an incredible thing. But even if my competition sees it, one is they're not going to understand it, okay? They're not going to know how to use it. And one of the things I'm going to tell you, big secret is, I love outspending my competition. So it cost me about $3,000 to send somebody to Ireland. Of course, they don't know that. They think, Ireland giveaway, oh my gosh, that's really probably expensive. So they won't do it. And by the way, if they did do it, people are going to know they're copying me because I've been doing it for the last 5, 6, 7, 8 years, okay? Helpmetouch.com. So emails are important. And I work with, trying to make sure I stay in the camera here, trying to remember the name of them now. I've called it helpmetouch.com so long I forget. Oh, Constant Contact. I've worked with Constant Contact for years, but I created my own set of emails that we send out to clients. And if you have clients, you want to send out a weekly email to them. The problem is most people, and by the way, I hate emails. I get 200 to 300 of them a day. Can you imagine? 200 to 300 a day. I just like scan through them. Unless it's something valuable, I don't even open it. But I get emails from 2 people every single day. But because it's a value to me, I open it up just to see what they said. All right. There are other speakers and authors that they have cute little things they talk about, or how they help people, or something they did recently. But never is it like, oh, Mike, you should buy my stuff. Well, I say never. Maybe once every 3 months or something, they're going, oh, I have a new book out, or I have this out. You should come get that. And so Help Me Touch is kind of a very, very powerful thing with that whole process. I'm used to holding a clicker, so I'm holding that one. Here's what our Ireland giveaway looks like. You can see it's basically our thank you note. So this is our thank you note, all right, that we send out to people. And every time we send a thank you note out, they get to enter in as well. And of course, it's for Texas Bank. Anybody ever been to Ireland? You have? Okay. Pretty cool place, isn't it? I got to go last year for the first time ever. I've been sending people for like 15 years, We took a break and then we started back up. So about 15 years, I'd never been.
Did you kiss the Blarneys?
Yeah, I did. And so did my wife, okay? We're both 55 years plus, and we've been over and kicked that silly thing. So I said, I'm not coming this far without doing that. All right? I'm looking at time. So honestly, I'm going to skip through all of these pieces here. Oh, here's a couple things that might be of interest to you. One of the things that we teach is what we call the Big Bang Marketing. And if you want to learn more, there's a free interview out here of me with a gentleman that teaches all across the world as well. His name is Dave D. He's great. He actually wanted to interview me because of some things that I do. Me and my wife started doing marriage enrichment classes probably about 20 plus years ago, 25 years ago. And when I started coaching people, when I started helping people, we took those marriage enrichment principles and we started building them into our business. And then we started building them into helping other people with their business. So here's one, for instance, that we try to teach people. We believe that once a week, you should go on a date night with your wife, okay? In today's digital society, I will guarantee you that 95+% of people do not go on a date night with their wife once a week. You guys probably do, okay? Because Rotary people just seem to be different. You seem to think differently. You seem to think at a little bit higher level than most people. But you'd be surprised how many people don't go on a date night. And by the way, I'm going to be very blunt with you, and this may hurt, but if it's not written in your schedule, it's not real. All right? So Thursday night, every Thursday night is date night with me and my wife. Now, if I'm going to be out of town, my office knows to move it to Monday or Tuesday or to Friday and Saturday, okay? So we can do something. So start Big Bang Marketing. There's a great interview out there you might enjoy. Also, I have a gentleman that I've been coaching. He's going to be doing what we call 1 Day of Secrets Revealed .com. Notice the slash, notice the NTX, and I'm told the NTX has to be small case, which I'm thinking, then go fix that, okay? Because some people are going to not type in small case. But there's some other secrets that we'll be teaching and helping out there as well. All right, let me see here. I've got one last real big slide I want to try to get to. There we go. I'll come back here. One of the things that I try to teach people is to make it easy for people to work with you. I am amazed at how hard people make it to work with you. Now, the number one most important thing is in small businesses. Chris, for you, so people call you, right? I'm betting you actually answer the phone. All right? Are you shocked that over 50+% of clients or people that have service businesses don't actually even answer the phone?
I'm not shocked.
Yeah. Exactly. So one of the things I find is one of the most important simple things I have to teach people is make it easy for people to work with you. All right. And one of the things that people started teaching about 20 years ago was, oh, tell them to leave a message. And here's a great voicemail. And by the way, I have a great voicemail, and I have it set up so people can leave me a message. But for my business, man, we answer the phones from 7 in the morning till 9 p.m. at night, and then we have a backup call center that answers after that, okay? So that we can make sure we take those phone calls. But when I call around North America and I start calling small businesses, even in my industry, and I'm going to be very harsh here for a second, even some of the guys I coach, and I've been coaching for a while, I call them and I still get voicemail. And I'm sitting there going, are you like out of your mind? And then they have the gall to complain about, well, been a little slow lately. I wonder why. Oh, you don't answer the phone. Here, let me help you. So I actually created an acronym. I call it AATP. It's one of the simplest things. And I tell them that if they'll listen to this one thing, AATP, I guarantee them 10% growth next year. And for some of them, they'll have 100% growth. AATP stands for always answer the phone. I mean, it's that simple, but you'd be surprised, and I know you all run into it, okay? And even when I'm trying to do business with Home Depot sometimes, they don't answer the phone, okay? So there's always those challenges. The other thing is that one of the things I try to tell people is you should get paid what you're worth, all right? It's okay to do free stuff, and what do they call that, bono something? Pro bono, right. It's okay to do that sometimes, especially for charities, or especially when you've got something like Hurricane Harvey or Hurricane Irma or something like that. And we do that sort of stuff all the time, where we find people. All right, I'm going to tell you that I found a couple out of Florida last year that were struggling so bad. She had lost her job. I actually loaned them $2,000 a month just to help them get back on their feet. And I told them, I said, once your business gets to here, I want you to pay me back. Now, they did pay me back, so that was kind of a cool thing. And I don't do that very often. But somehow I'm kind of a very faithful person, and when the good Lord tells me to do something, I do it. I'd rather do that than be Jonah, okay? I don't need to smell what an inside of a fish smells like, okay? But raising your prices can be very important. Most people do not get paid what they're worth. And most people don't understand that there's usually a simple formula to raising your prices, and you want to kind of go that direction. And then once people use you, what do you do to try to make sure that they use you over and over and over again? Okay, I'll make an example of the restaurant.
Well, I've been using this one roofer since he was in high school 40 years ago.
And how often has he said thank you to you?
Oh, whenever I come.
And yeah, right. Okay. This restaurant, right?
I'd say do what you say you're going to do.
Right. Do what you say you're going to do. But you really need to reach out to people on a regular basis and just remind them you're there. All right. This restaurant. Does this restaurant have all of y'all's contact information?
Probably. Well.
Do they send you an email once a week? Do they send you a happy birthday thing? Now, by the way, some of the restaurants have gotten better at that. My birthday is this month, and so I've already had 2 restaurants go, hey, here's your birthday certificate.
Yeah, I've got 2 or 3 of them.
Yeah, and so some of them are beginning to do that. But the only time I really hear from them is like the birthday time, which is kind of interesting.
Well, we're here every week, so.
Oh, okay, so they don't really need to, they don't need to worry about you, right? Okay, all right.
We get good service.
Well, that's good. And so one of the things I try to tell people is good service is a great start, and good service is actually required for everything else to work. But marketing is what fuels people to, so if they actually said, oh, here's a coupon to bring a new person with you, or here's something along those lines. But we all have to work on that, okay? I have someone that taught me this, and then I kind of rephrased it a little bit. While most business owners think the purpose of getting a customer is to make the sell, the successful business owner kind of thinks the reverse. The purpose of the sell is to get a new customer or client. So once they use you, we want them to use us again and again and again. I mean, the one-offs are kind of good, but they're also kind of painful. Wouldn't it be better, Chris, if somebody came into your business and said, Chris, I like what you do. I want to set up something at least once a week, if maybe once a month, and here's what I'll pay you, right? And it's a continuity business. By the way, Warren Buffett, when he goes to buy companies, that's the kind of business he wants. He wants people that have continuity, automatic type payments every single time. Well, guys, we're going to wrap it up with that. It's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. I had these here, but what I'm going to tell you is you usually have to have a burning desire, and you guys wouldn't be here if you didn't already have that. And I will tell you, you wouldn't have worked through a lot of these challenges with the Zoom and different things for the folks that are out there. You wouldn't have that if you already didn't have some kind of a burning desire to be successful. You also have to have specialized knowledge. Now, here's the trick. Chemical sales, is that right?
Yes.
Construction sales. That's right,
Construction.
you were chemical sales. Construction sales. So you have some specialized knowledge, right? But one of the specialized knowledges that people seem to ignore is marketing, all right? Making sure that people remember them. And when people go to, we need to call, okay? And make sure that you're the first person that shows up, then you forget that. Discipline, there's a certain amount of discipline about getting those emails out once a week and setting things up. By the way, most of that can be all basically set up ahead of time. But getting the newsletter out, or sending a note out, or picking up the phone and calling people. I'm in the process of moving offices right now, and it's a disaster. But my wife, she was saying, what's one of the things you're going to do new this year? And I said, well, one of the things I'm moving into a much nicer office. I'm going to set this big board up, actually via TV, connected to a computer, and I told her, I said, I'm going to start calling 10 people a day. 10 people a day, just to remind them that I appreciate working with them. Because these people pay us about $800 a month. I think it's worth it that I pick up the phone and just tell them thank you and see if they need anything. I'm not trying to sell them anything extra, because what they pay for is kind of all inclusive, but just see if they need anything else, okay? And then you must become decisive in nature. You got to learn to take action. The average person, 95% in fact of people, say they will do something and then don't. It's really kind of a crying shame that it's that large a percentage. And you all know somebody in your life that told you, maybe even today, oh, I'm going to do something, and then they didn't get it done, okay? And then the last thing is, find yourself some kind of a mastermind group, some kind of a group of people that all want to be successful or working towards being successful, and meet with them on a regular basis, not just to do wonderful, great stuff for humanity, but also to help move your business forward, okay? So that's pretty much it. Thank you for your time, and if I can help you in any way, you let me know. All right? Thank you so much, Chris. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Appreciate your time. Are there any questions?
I had one just
Yes.
for clarification. Your mavens, is that like realtors or is that?
For home inspection company, we have 15 different mavens. And I apologize, I'm out of the camera. So, hi, Linda. How are you doing? Did I tell you I like red hair? Okay. My favorite aunt had red hair. But mavens, in the home inspection business, we have 15 different mavens. So real estate agents are the easiest to reach, and we deal a lot with those. But mortgage companies, title companies, real estate attorneys, moving companies, insurance companies, past clients, by the way, can be that. HR directors, okay? And so what I try to look for is anybody that's also dealing with my client during a transition they might be doing, okay? So if in construction sales, you know, there's a lot of people that are also dealing with those folks as well. And once you figure that out, it costs the same amount to work with a maven as it does to go buy or get to the public, but they should be like 5 times more valuable to you in referrals. Okay?
Okay.
All right, great.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Linda.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, any other questions? Any other comments? The only other thing, October the 7th, I believe it is the first Saturday, is the Alzheimer's Walk. It's part of the District Governor Spouses Program to support the Alzheimer's Foundation. That's all I can remember. So, other than that, I think that's all, and it will stand for the 4-way test. Of the things we think, say, or do, first, is it the truth? Second, is fair to all concerned? Third, will it build goodwill and better friendships? And fourth, will it be beneficial to all concerned? And Rotary. Thank y'all for coming.
Great job.